Welcome to Bible Journaling 66. Please like and subscribe. The parable of the leaven is the fourth parable in what we call the Kingdom of Heaven parables. In Matthew 13, verse 33, we read, "Another parable spake he unto them. The kingdom of heaven is like unto leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal, till the whole was leavened." As with the parable of the mustard seed, Jesus offered no explanation. So we will have to let Scripture explain Scripture. There are 2 accepted interpretations of this parable. The first is that the leaven in the parable is a symbol of the gospel spreading throughout the whole world. The parable Jesus told just before this one, the mustard seed, was also interpreted this way, and we saw that it was inconsistent with the other parables of the kingdom of heaven. Over 100 years ago, Dean Henry Alford adopted this theory, and it's been taught in the churches for many, many years. History has disproved this. After 2 world wars and growing violence throughout the world, it obviously is not a proper interpretation. The second interpretation is that leaven is a symbol of evil. The first idea, that leaven is the spreading of the gospel, would be out of harmony with the preceding parables. In the parable of the tares, Satan's seed remain with the good seed until the end of the age. In the parable of the mustard seed, the fowls, the emissaries of Satan, find lodging in the tree of Christendom. In this parable, the leaven represents sin being introduced to the church. So, how was leaven used in the Scripture? The first reference of leaven in the Old Testament is found in Genesis 19, verse 3, when God's messengers visited Lot in Sodom. "And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned unto him and entered into the house. And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat." Now, we are not told why Lot did not bake the bread with leaven, but it is obvious that he knew he shouldn't use leaven. The next reference to leaven is found in Exodus chapter 12, verse 8. "And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast in fire, and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it." The Passover lamb was to be slain, and the blood applied to the 2 doorposts and the upper post of the house, and the death angel would pass over that house. The Israelites were to eat the flesh roasted in fire with unleavened bread. Another feast, called the Feast of Unleavened Bread, is recorded in Exodus 12, verse 15, and it gives instructions for the Feast of Unleavened Bread. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your house. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. If leaven is a type of good, why would God command his people to remove it entirely from their houses during the Passover season and not offer the blood sacrifice with leaven? In Exodus 34:25, they are told, "Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leaven." Leaven is a yeast that begins to consume the sugars in the flour. As it does, it gives off gases that make the dough expand. When used in grape juice, it produces alcohol. It is a form of corruption or rotting. Thus, it is used as a type of or figure of sin in the Bible. Jesus spoke of leaven in terms of sin. He warned his disciples of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. In Matthew 16 it says, "And when Jesus said unto them, Take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees." In Luke 12:1 it says, "Beware ye of the leaven of the Pharisees," which is hypocrisy. A hypocrite is an actor or pretender. Pharisees believed that pleasing God was to maintain a right appearance. Both the Pharisees and the Sadducees each interpreted Scripture in different ways. They were very strict, trying to follow the laws of the letter, believing that would save them. The leaven of the Sadducees, in Acts 23:8 we read, "For the Sadducees say that there is no resurrection, neither angel nor spirit, but the Pharisees confess both." Sadducees denied the supernatural, explained away the miracles. They did not believe in the resurrection. They believed when you're dead, you're dead. I guess that's why they were sad, you see. So what did the meal represent? Let's go to Genesis 18, verse 6, and read, "And Abraham hastened into the tent unto Sarah, and said, Make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the hearth." The meal represented that which was good. The 3 measures of meal cakes symbolized fellowship between God and man. And finally, what did the woman represent? In typology of Scripture, a woman represents a religious system, sometimes good, sometimes evil. Notice in this parable, the woman was hiding the leaven in the meal. If the leaven represented good, why did she hide it? In 2 Corinthians 4, verses 3 and 4, we read, "But if our gospel be hid, it is hid unto them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them." So in conclusion, these 7 parables that all begin with the phrase, "The kingdom of heaven is like," are connected together. They paint a picture of the church age until he returns. Jesus is sending a warning to the church that as time progresses, the church will be slowly infiltrated by corruption, unbelievers that will change its properties and priorities. Until the next time, Maranatha.